We've all grown up watching Disney movies, but we've never really given thought to the villains. Disney villains are people too. For these characters that cause destruction and wreak havoc, has anyone wondered about their past? What has made them so vengeful and angry? Snow White, Cinderella, or Rapunzel wouldn't have been as grasping or emotional of a tale if not for the roles these villains played in their lives. Films such as Cruella and Maleficent shine light on a couple villains' backstories, and fans absolutely love them. With that said, let's look into some Disney villains so evil they deserve an origin movie of their own. Scar, the Lion King. Even if you're not a Disney enthusiast, you're surely familiar with this one. The conniving, brutally brilliant Scar is one of the most notorious villains Disney has to offer. He exudes charisma, intelligence, and evil in equal measure. You can't just help but love and hate him.
Hey, Uncle Scar, when I'm king, what'll that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
As we know, the envious Scar plotted to murder his brother and the heir to the throne, Mufasa's son Simba, before assuming power himself. He succeeded in all but one of his aims, helped by the hyenas, and brought Pride Rock to ruin with his misrule before Simba eventually returned.
Simba, I'm a little surprised to see you alive.
Even after being defeated, Scar tried to kill Simba with a cowardly sucker punch. There are two versions of Scar's backstory, but they are both rooted in the fact that as a younger brother to Mufasa, Scar wanted to prove himself better than his brother and become king of the lands.
What are you supposed to do? Kill Mufasa?
Precisely.
Given that, Mufasa was firm, yet not unfriendly toward his little brother, the film hints at Scar stewing in his own bitterness and jealousy, while his righteous brother followed expectations in his younger years and became the king. Fans deserve to know how the two were raised together, and why the one-sided hatred grew so strong over the years. The Evil Queen, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White's stepmother, Queen Grimhilda, feels as if she is in competition with the princess. As the young girl grew to be beautiful, the queen felt like she was no longer
the fairest one of all.
Pretty standard in classical princess movies and somewhat cliché at this point, but to modernize the old tale of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney should focus on the upbringing of Queen Grimhild. Was she really the most beautiful in the land at one point of time? Did praise from her parents or the townspeople drive her to be so shallow? Or did she attain her beauty by some other means and fears to lose it? There is a great story lying beneath the surface of this rather hateful woman, and it needs to be told.
And the victim's eyes will close forever in the sleeping den.
Shan Yu, Mulan. In Mulan, Shan Yu is the ruthless, cold-hearted leader of the Huns.
Perfect.
Their goal is to conquer China by killing anyone who stands in their way. Given that the country's leadership has been passed down through generations, Shan Yu's brute force to take the land is rooted in his need to show he is more powerful than those in the ruling family. However, what fans want to know is why Shan Yu is doing this to begin with. Was he born into a clan that deemed him the ruler of the Huns? Was he raised believing that he had formal rights to rule? Disney should focus on different histories and cultures in a possible origin story dealing with an invading group across the lands.
They're very manly and tough. I'm working on it.
Gaston, Beauty and the Beast. The man who brought a mob to kill the beast. Now on the surface, this might not seem like such a heinous act. After all, if your neighbor was a huge, terrifying, super furry animal, you'd be forgiven for feeling a little tetchy about the whole situation. It's Gaston's motives that make his attack on the beast so unforgivable. Gaston is the kind of man who gets whatever he wants, whenever he wants it. Almost the entire movie's cast adores him, so when Belle spurns him and learns that she loves the beast, he doesn't take that well.
She's as crazy as the old man.
It's not a righteous mission to protect the townsfolk from this menace. It's just a jealous rage on his part. Any self-respecting woman would find Gaston's conceited and manipulative speech absolutely repulsive. While he is made to be the most handsome the townsmen swoon over, Belle doesn't care for his empty promises and compliments for a moment. His confidence does raise one question. What was he like as a teenager? Was he always naturally gifted, and that had gone to his head? Who were his parents or role models? Gaston's inability to accept the answer no is increasingly annoying, but fans can't help wonder if he was always like this. Captain Hook, Peter Pan. The life of a pirate is anything but ordinary, and Captain Hook is by far one of the most infamous villains. Captain Hook, especially Disney's take on him, isn't the most fearsome villain around. He's a bumbling and fearful man, but he doesn't want his crew to notice. He's also completely single-minded in his hunt for Peter Pan and has a temper almost as volatile as the Queen of Hearts' own. All of this adds up to an antagonist who is far more dangerous than he might seem. From his perspective, Peter Pan is the villain here. He did see to it that Hook's hand was eaten by the persistent crocodile after all. As a result, the captain will stop at nothing to get back at Pan and his friends. Kidnapping, laying traps with time bombs are just some of the lows Hook stoops to in his endless quest. Fans want to know, has he always lived in Neverland? Was he an adventurous child? And now as an adult he is simply jealous of the life of Peter Pan. Captain Hook is a bit more skittish and comedic than other villains, so it's hard to believe that his upbringing was rooted in hatefulness. If anything, he seems like he would have been rebellious and humorous in his teenage years.
I'm a codfish.
Louder!
I'm a codfish!
Lady Tremaine, Cinderella. Cinderella has a dozen modern variations, but the wicked stepmother character seems to always find her way into the film. Lady Tremaine appears as a poised yet vengeful woman toward her stepdaughter. She has her own two daughters that are not as intelligent as herself, but they share their mother's wicked disdain for Cinderella. Fans are curious to know if this has always been the dynamic in the family. Was she ever warm and forgiving towards her children? What made her so power-hungry that she would forego her own daughter's wishes to marry a decent but common man? Lady Tremaine is subtle and secretive with her reprimands, but she is by no means soft-spoken. Which Disney villain is your favorite, and who do you think deserves a movie of their own? If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more videos like this one.